Today we're looking at the primary clutch for a Wildcat Sport or a Wildcat Trail. There's been a couple instances where people will have trouble shifting gears while the engine's running. It's almost impossible to shift gears. You just about have to just kill the engine, then shift gears while you're like rocking the machine back and forth, and then start it back up in gear. Or if you're just sitting there idling while it's in gear, it will try to creep forward, just kind of real slow, just kind of rolling forward. And what's happening is inside your clutch, you've got the two sheaves here that the belt rides on, here and here. But then at idle, the clutch is open like it is now. But whenever you give it gas, this clutch will start to squeeze in, and then your belt starts riding up the face of the sheaves. But at idle, it's open, and the belt is sitting on the two-way bearing here in the center. Now this bearing, it should spin freely back and forth. You've got this little graphite colored bushing over here, and that should spin freely. And what's happening is when these guys are running into these problems where they can't shift gears or it's just creeping forward, something's happening where that bearing is trying to lock up. And I had grit get in mine after I'd sucked a bunch of mud into my belt housing. I was able to get it cleaned out. Of course, I had the clutch off like it is now, and I was able to get all the grit worked out of it, and it's still working fine. This is a spare that I'd bought, and I haven't had to use it yet. Anyway, that two-way bearing will cause the problems. While I've got it here, some of the other parts, you've got the little fins on the back. They pull the air into the clutch housing and circulate that around. Like I said, you've got your two sheaves here, the two-way bearing and the little bushing for it. You got the plate here on the outside face of it, the 6 bolts in it. You look inside, you can see the primary spring in there, and you've got the spider here. As far as I know, no one makes a replacement bearing. They want you to buy the entire clutch, but it would be fairly easy to replace it if you did. You just need a holding fixture to keep from breaking the fins off, to hold that steady. Take the 6 bolts off the front plate. Of course, you have to be careful when you do that, because the primary spring has it under pressure, and there's a big nut in there. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's at the base of the primary or spring, and once you get that off, you can take the spider off, and you should be able to access the bearing then. But like I said, no one has that bearing available that I know of now. I think it's just Team Clutches. They just want you to buy the whole new thing, them and Cat. So anyway, that's my video. Well, one more thing I almost forgot. You got your clutch weights here. For any of those of you, thinking about doing a clutch kit, like a Dalton kit or anything. Once you get it down to this, you have the bolt here. This bolt has a shoulder on it, so it may look loose, but it's actually tight because the nut is tight against the shoulder of that bolt. Your clutch weights are here, and so it's actually fairly easy just to install a clutch kit like a Dalton or a Speedworks kit. Basically all you have to do is you can take off the cover plate and take the spring off to relieve the tension on it, and then you can actually slide this. You can actually slide this part here down, and where you can actually get the weights off and on. So, and that's fairly easy. Anyway, that's my video. Hope it's helpful and explains some of the issues that goes on with this. Otherwise, I think these are really simple clutches, and I think that's what makes them really good, because you don't really hear anybody having a lot of trouble with them, because there are so few moving parts to them, unlike you see like some of the other Can-Ams or Polaris, so they have there's a million parts to them. And anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoy it, and hope it was helpful.